We have a client in Oklahoma over there, Dental Depot, used this data from our performance report, which gave them an idea that, man, some of the offices were really struggling with putting patients in because they had capacity problems. And using this data over a 6-month period, they decided to do an expansion. As we know today, as you guys know, capacity, there's no problem of new patients or demand. The problem is supply. Do we have the chairs? Do we have the doctors, the hygienists, and all these guys to do it? So to elevate that information into an insight and present that to you is going to make you like, okay, well, now we can afford to add 2 more chairs, right? Now we can afford to hire an associate because we're turning away patients. 30% of patients got turned away because we didn't have a doctor. It makes sense now to hire a new doctor, an associate doctor. So those are the decisions that sometimes people make. We had a large client here. They have about 50 offices and recovered $1.5 million in revenue, almost $1.6 million in 1 month using our alert systems.
1 month?
In 1 month, right?
Wow.
That's a decent number, right? Decent number. As we know, accounting, these new patients came at no extra cost and they came at a pretty decent profit margin because they came after your fixed cost that you recovered. If you're a multi-location group, you have a couple of offices, 2, 3 offices that are within a specific geographic area, you can use Patient Prism. Tells you that, hey, if a patient was not eligible to go to this office, you should have suggested to another office. That way you're not losing the patient to your competitor. So that's an insight we drive into the offices. The other big thing we've learned, and as I've said before, dentistry is a team sport. We've got to get everybody on the bus, right? Our front office, our back office, our hygienists, our assistants, our treatment plan coordinators, our doctors. Everybody's got to be aligned. And we feel that if we can get the front office team to be aligned with the values of our practice, of giving the best patient experience all the time, Patient Prism is a tool that facilitates their greatness. It really coaches them into becoming better versions of themselves. And if they do, we provide them gold, silver, diamond certificates so that they can proudly display them on their break rooms. And that gets people excited. How do you get teams excited is the biggest challenge in any organization. How do we get people to drink the Kool-Aid and really drive change that sticks?
I think people have to know that they're creating some sort of impact, either on the business that they're working for, or ultimately it's those patients coming in and being served.
100% agree. 100% agree. At the end of the day, we're in the people business. We're in the business of caring for our patients, and if we can, but we got to get our entire team to buy into it.
All in the new patient business. Everyone is in the new patient business,
and it really is. I mean, obviously, we got to take care of our patients, and the more our teams are in tune with what we're trying to do, and they realize the importance of all of this, they're all going to come together and you're going to win championships, because that's how we win championships is by a team, not a player. There are a couple of slides to go over, and again, I've brought some big examples of, and again, it doesn't mean that you have to have 100 offices or 6 offices. It doesn't really matter, but no matter where you are, this slide is a lot to read. But for example, the first example of this is that we have a client with 100 offices. We send them 5,687 alerts, which means there was new patients who didn't schedule an appointment. Those practices followed up with 5,626 patients, resulting in 147 booked appointments. Those 147 booked appointments result in 802 patients being seen with a 30% no-show rate, right? And resulting in a potential treatment of $922,000, almost $1 million of treatment, with the investment within us was about $39,900. So people ask me, what's the ROI look like for Patient Prism? It's massive, provided you're able to use it. A lot of our bigger groups ask me, well, what's my cost of acquisition of a customer? You want to understand that really, really well. And if it's in the double digits, you're in good shape. If it goes to triple digits, well, you have to understand what market you're in. In Miami, in Atlanta, in New York, cost of acquisition is in triple digits. That's fine. But it's in triple digits because you're not really talking to people correctly. That's the key that we're trying to solve. So we're happy to have an ROI conversation with you. I'm a CPA, prior CPA. And we love this conversation.
I think sometimes it comes into though, you know, we have a very, very low new patient acquisition cost, but it's because you're not marketing at all. You're not getting a lot of new patients, right? You could always potentially get more. If you're not marketing at all, maybe you're leaving 30% on the table. I think what's really important about this slide, Amol, is that you know, a single practice or two practice doctor maybe looking at this and go, oh wow, this is fancy, all these multi-location practices. I mean, if you shave off a zero
Correct.
off of some of these, I mean, they all start with one location.
Correct.
And the bigger these organizations get, with the larger number of locations, the larger number of total patients seen, the larger volume of calls coming in, the more loss they realize on these missed opportunities. It becomes more painful the larger you get. The best time to begin is always at the beginning, even if you just have one office. Maximizing that one office with as much, capturing as much of the potential that that office has.
And believe me, these clients have been my clients for a long time. They all started with one office.
Right.
Nobody got to 100 right away.
Right.
They started with one, they got to two, but then they systematized the process. Patient acquisition, patient retention, case acceptance. They put all these systems in place. And once they figured it out, they went to the next one. They went to the next one.
Systems and then training on those systems.
Absolutely. Super important.
Real quick on that topic, can you just speak to a little bit, what is maybe the online and in-person training support
I'm glad you brought that, and I'll bring up a next slide. We have an advanced training team. We call them the customer client success team, and they basically will train your team how to use the software. But we also have a library of over 1,200 videos that talk about every aspect of dentistry. Out of those 1,200 videos, about 400 of them have to do with front office conversion stuff and soft skills related to converting and having the sales conversations. Other 800 of them are everybody under the sun who has come in, over 45 consultants from all walks of industry experts. I think you're there.
I made one video, yeah.
You did. You were there as well. I think Brent's there as well. We have industry experts from all walks of life, from CEO, C-suite, at large DSOs, to hygienists, dental assistants. Kevin Henry talks about dental assistants. There's room, and you get access to that for free as our client. You get access to all this education. We definitely believe that education is the key, and having that. So our customer success team is amazing. They will not leave you alone. They will make sure that you're using it, and they will uncover the insights for you, and tell you that, hey, it's time to focus on this, or it's time to focus on this one particular employee who basically just does not want to talk to anybody. Maybe this person is not, and you give them some warnings, and maybe it's not the right fit. Maybe they need to be trained.
Maybe they're in the wrong chair, or maybe they're just not the right fit.
Whatever it is, but sometimes you liberate somebody by giving them an opportunity to leave. Right. And it's controversial comment, but it's true. You know, you give them, you want to be best at what you do, and we want to make sure your teams are really the best at what they do. And that is what it's all about. At the end of the day, we want to improve oral health of as many Americans as possible.
I'll say this too. I think a lot of people are hesitant, or they avoid wanting to have their phone calls recorded, wanting to let their team know that they're being recorded, and then going over those phone calls. At first, it's one of the most uncomfortable things you do.
Right.
But I promise you this, after you've heard yourself on audio or especially video, you will never speak the same. It will be better the next time. Sometimes you're horrified yourself how you hear it. And if you just will set the emotion aside and think openly about how could I improve the phone call experience to improve the overall new patients coming into the office, to improve the organization's growth, that's where the true impact begins. And I think it requires somebody being coachable and open. And ultimately, I mean, if you can get past that initial conversation, the initial sometimes shock of somebody saying, oh, I'm being recorded, it's a standard part. I mean, I think you call any major company right now and they tell you, this call is being recorded for quality assurance purposes. And that's all that is quality assurance for a better patient experience, ultimately showing up in the numbers and organizations' growth.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think it's a good point to end on, because it really, at the end of the day, it's about the patients. And we want to make sure that we are here to serve our patients, because dentistry does change people's lives. And we are just part and parcel of this industry that has such an amazing impact. And I'm truly honored to be with you here, to be a little part of this industry that has so much potential and has made so much impact. So thank you for having me, Chris.
Well, we're truly honored that you came to see us and that you're going to be a part of helping our clients grow. So look out for more from us on Patient Prism and all the results we're seeing with clients. We hope that you will do a demonstration with them to improve your business. We can't help you grow revenue. They can. Once you grow that revenue, we can help you be more profitable. So until next time, this is Chris Sands at Profi 2020 Dental CPAs, and make it a profitable day.